Hello and welcome. I'm Kelly, and tonight I have a quick and easy masculine scrapbook layout for you using the Everyday You and Me collection. Now, I'm going to be scrapbooking my youngest grandson, Waylon James, and this photo might look familiar because I've been working through lots of family photos that we took last summer. This is Waylon James with his daddy, Zachary, my youngest son, and I did this one using the Timeless Plaid and the Everyday Botanicals stamp set, and I loved it. I also completed this one, the same photo series, my daughter Emily and I created this negative layered circle, and I'll link that process video in the description using the collection that we're going to be using tonight. And I have all of these leftovers. So this is the Everyday You and Me scrapbooking workshop. Now, I was reminded of a layout that I created using Flower Shop in 2022 that had this banner piece on it. I just got back from the Stampin' Up! On Stage convention, and they had these enormous, from large to small, dovetailed banner dies, and I'm so excited about them. I cannot hardly wait. They're large enough to create large party banners and small enough to go on cards and scrapbooking pages. So I thought I would use that pattern. It really sparked an idea in me to recreate that layout from 2022. So of course I'm going to use this gorgeous ombre pattern from the Everyday You and Me scrapbooking workshop, and I'm going to cut it down to 10 inches by cutting 1 inch off either side. Then I'm going to cut about a ½ inch off the bottom. And then I want to create a faux banner behind it, meaning I want it to look like I actually layered two banners on top of each other, but I don't want to waste that much paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 1 inch strips. So this is 10 inches, and I'm going to first dovetail it, and then I'm going to cut some 1 inch strips to put on either side. So because this is a 10-inch piece, I'm going to mark the 5-inch mark in the middle. I'm going to go up 2 inches, make another mark, draw a line from the lower left to the 2-inch mark, and then from the lower right to the 2-inch mark. Now, I make dovetails in tons of ways. I could actually have folded this pattern paper in half as long as it was going with the grain and it was bendable without, creasing it. And I could have cut the dovetail that way, or I could have cut up with a scissor 2 inches and then just cut up to that center line. But because it's the foundation of my layout, I really wanted it to be perfect, so I actually drew it on there. So I have a 1 inch strip at the top of the checkered pattern. Right now it's 1 by 12, but I'm going to trim it down. I have 2 more 1 by 12 inch pieces that I'm actually going to attach to either side of that to make it look like it's another banner underneath. So I'm going to run the adhesive along the edge, take that piece and put it probably about, a 1/4 of an inch of it overlapping or a ½ inch of it overlapping, probably about a ½ inch, I'm thinking. And then I will do the same with the other side. Then I'll be able to easily trim and get the exact same angle. Then I'm going to fill in with a piece at the top. I start with a 1 inch piece, and I actually end up trimming enough off that you could probably start with a little over a ½ inch piece. But I wanted to be safe, so I started with a 1 inch piece at the top. And then it will look like, because I'm going to put a border piece in there, it will look like it's a whole piece of paper in the back, and it's actually 3 1 inch strips. And that makes me happier than wasting a whole sheet of paper to create another banner out of that gorgeous gingham. I'm trying to conserve paper. So the layout that I created previously, the negative circle, took 4 sheets of pattern paper. There was a lot left over in the middle because I was able to use the circles, or I will be able to use the circles in the middle for some other things, but I wanted to be able to use up some more pieces and make some focal layouts and get all of my family photos. I have so many photos from this last summer, from this photo shoot, and I kind of would like to do like me with the grown kids, me with the grandkids, me with all the kids, just the kids together, the single kids, the individual families, you know the drill. And I'd really like to have maybe a focal page for each of those themes. I don't have to scrap every single one. I'm just picking my favorite ones out of those themes. So now I'm ending up trimming off a little bit off the top, and I trim even another 1/4 of an inch off of that as well, so that that large banner is up a little tiny titch from the bottom of the page. In retrospect, I maybe would have made the original banner maybe a 1/2 inch shorter so that I could have had a little bit more space on the bottom, but I do end up loving it. So now I'm grabbing a sticker off of the Everyday You and Me sticker sheet, the sticker sheet that comes in the scrapbooking workshop kit. And there's this great sticker that has, it almost looks like 2 separate stickers, but it's one sticker. And it has a darker shade on the top and a lighter shade on the bottom. And I'm going to put that about a 1/2 inch down. And then I'm going to put a 1/4 of an inch strip on the seam. And I just feel like that ties everything together. I've put an 1/8 inch border on a 4x4 photo. So I've put an 1/8 inch photo mat, so a 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. Now I'm going to shop my junk gypsy tray of all the pieces that were left over, and there's this great pattern paper piece that was actually a punch out. And then I've created 2 more 4x4 pieces, a 4x4 piece of the gingham, and then a 4x4 of the wild wheat specialty pattern that comes right in the workshop. I also created another pretty peacock 4.5 by 4.5 to go behind Waylon James' photo. Now I'm just going to shop that junk gypsy tray and look for something that I could use as a title. I kind of see myself maybe making a separate title. So those other titles say things like together, or they're super large, and Waylon James is by himself in this photo. So I really think I want enjoying the moment. And I was thinking, what would it be like to make just a separate little cluster across from the main photo grouping, and I thought that might look neat. And then I fell in love with this wash card that is a sticker that says today. I haven't taken the back off the sticker, but there's something about it, and I'm struggling, and I'm moving it all around, and I'm struggling with how I could use it, but I love it. I also think it adds that nice wash look and a splash of color in the back. I really love it a lot. So I'm just playing around here to see how I could use it, and I end up mounting the pieces that I know for sure where I want them to go. So like this punch out piece here, I definitely know that I want that there. I know that I want the gingham piece there, and I know that I want the specialty wild wheat piece there. So I can kind of get those in place and then play around with that extra piece. It's a struggle sometimes when you have one piece that you really, really, really want to use, and it's just not working out. And you know that you want to use it, you know that it's going to work out, but it isn't exactly looking right just yet. So if I get all the other pieces in place, I think I'll be able to find a home for this. So I've actually jumped forward, and I've created several videos with the Everyday You and Me collection because I love it so much, and I just found out several days ago that it's on our last chance section, and it really threw me for a loop because it's my featured collection for my Simply Scrappin' and my Sparkle and Shine workshops next month in May. This month I'm focusing on Meant to Be and Cute as Can Be, and guess what? Meant to Be and Cute as Can Be are not on last chance, and they're this month's collection, and next month's collection, Everyday You and Me, are on last chance. So I did a little bit of a flip-flop just to do a few layouts to feature it so everyone could see what an amazing collection it is and grab that up from last chance so that they have it for next month when it's my featured collection. So I've been having a whole lot of fun with it, but I have my Meant to Be Sparkle and Shine on the table, and I was just getting ready to do my one paper line 3 ways video because I completed my Cute as Can Be Simply Scrappin' workshop, and I'm almost done with my Meant to Be Sparkle workshop, and I just stopped where I was grabbed up the Everyday You and Me and just started creating with it. And I've been so happy that I did, because I really hate for people to miss out on it because it's on last chance. And I'm not exactly sure how they decide what goes on last chance, because I don't see a low quantity button on it. But I'm scared that it's going to get low quantity, especially since it's on last chance. So, hey, if you love this, grab it up now just in case. And if it ends up that you jumped the gun and you had it early, you'll have it for next month's featured collection. So now I finally got that piece in place and I am happy with it. And then I realized that I didn't do my inking. So luckily I barely put those pieces down. So I lifted all those pieces back up and did the inking on those. Now, if you watched my previous video with the negative circle layout, I did a lot of inking on the bits that were in the Junk Gypsy tray already. Some of them I didn't ink, but some of them I did. And I'm actually using pecan pie ink and a blending mini ink blending tool. And so if you did not watch my previous video, I went over all the materials and supplies that are in the Everyday You and Me Scrapbooking Workshop Kit. And I didn't want to go over all that again for you tonight. So just take a peek back at all of those things if you're not familiar with what's in those. So what I decided with this layout is I want it to be so simple and so easy that I want to shop what I already have. I don't want to add any more Cricut cuts. I don't want to add any die cuts. I just want to use what's left in my Junk Gypsy tray. So there's a lot of circle pieces left. There's some scallop circles. There's a journal circle. There's a white circle with some little flourishes on it. There's some craft punch out die cut pieces left. There's some punch out leaves left. There's a couple little punch out flowers left that I had already cut in half. So I really just want to shop what I have left. I want to use up my pieces. I used up quite a few pieces in the negative circle layout, and I want to use up pieces on this one. And then I'll still have plenty of paper left and plenty of extra pieces to do more. But I really just wanted to keep it simple, something that you could create that oversized large banner element there and just decorate around it, do a little toggling of some layered paper, add all the bits from the Junk Gypsy tray, and the only extra treatment that I wanted to add was a little bit of that inking and dirtying up the edges with the pecan pie ink. So those really large party banner dies, there's 20 dies, and they're coming in May with the launch of the brand new annual catalog. And there's also a set of party alphabet dies that are super large that can fit on the banners as well. And they go from super large all the way down to small enough for a card. And there's 20 sizes in between. And you can actually put the party alphabet dies together with the party banner dies, and you get a discount because you've bundled those together. But I do want to warn you so you don't have sticker shock. They are an investment set, but I'm beyond excited about them. I'm going to be able to scrapbook with them. I'm going to be able to make cards with them. I'm going to be able to make huge party banners for all the parties that we have with them. There's going to be some negative space pieces that we're going to be able to use for lots of things. And I'm frustrated that I can't show them to you, but we did not get a preview of those, and I'm not allowed to show you the inside of the catalog. So you're just going to have to wait. It's page 86 of the catalog, and it's launching on May 6th. They are party alphabet dies and party banners, and you'll be able to make a banner that's very similar to this oversized banner that I created for this layout tonight. So I'm just continuing on with the little clusters as usual, fussing around with the little pieces, trying to shop a few more extra word stickers and word pieces. So I kind of moved that title element up to the top. So enjoying the moment, I thought maybe it would toggle a little bit better up to the top so that it was sort of diagonal from the large elements that are clustering all the way around Waylon James photo. And I see myself not doing much at all, just maybe 2 or 3 little pieces up there. I do like it hanging off the banner. Now there's tons of space, so you could definitely put it lower. You could definitely have it on the banner, but you know me, I like to have a little bit of a crisscross or a diagonal view. And even though it's not a visual triangle, it makes your eye cross over from the lower left to the upper right, and it crosses over and is a feature for Waylon James's photo. So you're going to think that we're almost done here. I'm actually just cutting bits and pieces of stickers and little elements that I can move around so that I can use those bits and pieces in different places. And then I decide, when I'm actually even done with the bling, that I don't really want to mess up how cute this layout is with journaling all over it. So is there enough space to put journal strips over on the right? And would it look cool? Absolutely. But I decide I want hidden journaling. So I end up popping up the photo of Waylon James, creating a little decorative element on the inside cover of a flip flap, and then putting my journaling inside the flip flap. So you do see me manhandle some things and tear some things up. And I thought about pausing the video and doing all that rugged stuff without you seeing it, and then make myself look like I'm absolutely perfect and that I never rip stuff back up off my pages. But I do that every day. I am constantly, and that's why I do love me a repositionable tape runner, because I can always go back after I have a layout together, and 99% of the time, you will see me not put a great amount of adhesive on during my videos. And 99% of the time, I go back when the video is done, I take my liquid glue or my sturdy adhesive, and I go back and I get everything down super sturdy, because the last thing that I want to happen is for my precious pages to fall apart in a year or two within my page protectors and not keep their shape. I want them to last, and that's why I use very high quality things. I want these to last through the decades and through the generations. So I will go and I will adhere things down way better when I'm done. But when I'm playing around with my pieces, I really want repositionable things. If I'm using liquid glue right now and I change my mind, I'm going to tear up the paper when I tear up the piece with the liquid glue on it. So I use a repositionable tape runner. When I have things permanently where I want them, I will go back with the liquid adhesive and get it down a little bit better. All right, so now I'm going to get that title in the upper corner in place, and I just put just a few little pieces, not much up there at all. It really doesn't need anything, and I love that ombre shows. And if that bothers you that there's so much space there, add another photo. It would be super easy to add 2 4x4s there, or do your journaling on the front. So I opened up a Word document. I grabbed a text box that says to draw your own, so you can choose draw your own text box. I drew a text box on my Word document and changed the size to 4x4. Typed my journaling so it fit perfectly inside the 4x4, which actually made it about 3 7/8 maybe by the time I trimmed it down. Inked the edges, mounted it on the piece that I had there that was the 1/8 inch piece of white, and then added that. Found out later that I really needed a bigger photo mat under that, so I did a 3 3/4 inch photo mat later on under that, so that when I put the flip flap on, you can still see a little bit of the white. You can barely see the white when I put the flip flap on, so it almost looks like 1/8 of an inch. And so had I not done this after the fact, I think all of the sizes would have lined up a little bit better, but I did a little bit of tearing apart. So here's the part where I just show you all my imperfections in all their glory, and how imperfect I really am, and how I change my mind and I rip and I tear things up. I have used a lot of Undo. I don't know if any of you have ever used Undo. It's photo safe, and it's a liquid that you can squirt onto adhesive right on your paper, right on your photos, and it will release the adhesive from them without ruining the paper. You do then have to let that paper completely dry because it will be wet from the Undo. But I also, if I know that I'm just able to kind of pop that up, even if it rips a tiny bit, I know that it won't ruin anything. It will just kind of leave a little paper underneath, and then I can reposition that and barbarically tape that back down, and no one will be more the wiser. You won't be able to tell at all. So I go ahead and I pull out an extra scrap of the ombre paper with mostly the yellow showing. I cut that to 4x4 because it's going to have to fit under Waylon James's 4x4 photo. I put a couple sticker banners on there and I notch those or dovetail those. And then again, I think I'm happy. So I'm going to pull the adhesive off of or make sure which side the adhesive is on my flip flap, put my photo piece in the flip flap, make sure that that 4x4 fits perfectly over the journaling so that about 1/8 of an inch still shows of the photo mat. Take the adhesive off and flip that under. I get it a little tiny bit off. So instead of pulling off the flip flap, I pull the whole photo back up and adjust it, and then I move my bits up just a little bit. And then it's on there. Great. I'm happy with that. Now, I had a sticker on the front of Waylon James' photo saying a special day. So I'm going to actually put that on the front of the flip flap now. And then I'm going to curl some of my leaves and make those fit. And then I change my mind again and I decide that I don't want that to be blank inside. I want to add one more photo of Waylon James. So there's a really cute photo, a side profile photo of Waylon James that I didn't want to use on the front because he's looking off the page. So I put it on my photo printer and I flipped it so that he was looking inward, created a 2x2 photo, put it on a 3x3 photo mat, and then I'm going to add it to that ombre paper up above. So now I'm just repositioning everything, making sure that I'm happy with the flip flap, happy with the position. I have the sticker back in place, and then I'm actually deciding that I need a little bit more of the wild wheat. I've got a lot of the craft there. I've got a lot of the blue. So I'm going to notch a couple little scraps. I just cut a sticker, a leftover half of a sticker in half again, and cut a couple little notches into those stickers, put those stickers together, and I'm going to find a little spot for those under Waylon James's photo. And then you'll see that I'm going to add that additional photo. So feel free to add more photos on flip flaps, to add an additional photo on the right where there's space. You can do whatever works for you. I love the feature photo of Waylon because I'm working through all of the family photos, and I really want to have a feature photo of each grandchild, and then I want to have a feature layout with each of the families, the individual families, and then layouts of myself with the families. And then I think it will complete those family photos. We literally had not had family photos in years and years, so I really want to do them up. If I was one of those that had family photos every year, like, I don't know how people pull that off, but I know people who literally have brand new family photos every Christmas, and I'm really jealous of that. But to get my family together to do that is about impossible. So now I do still have some craft hearts here, and I've pulled out, there's some brand new dots that we're getting in May. I typically would use the textured dots, which I use a ton, so you can use those here, but I used dots called pressed Flower Motifs, and they have a little bit more of a design in them, and I love them. They're actually quite heavy, so I decorated with those, and then I decided to add just a few little punch out hearts, and then here is where I think I'm done. And then I end up adding that little photo in there. So I have to pull that piece out again, pull those stickers off, add the photo. Have any of you ever done this where you get it all done and you keep changing your mind? And hey, I always say it's the prerogative of a woman. We can change our minds whenever we want. So get it the way you want to. You're going to live with it forever, and then generations are going to live with it after that. So if you think I fuss too much, it's up to you, but these are a legacy for my family. So I want to be happy with them, and I am. It is such an easy layout to do where you're just using an oversized banner. You're decorating with all the bits that already come in the workshop. The only technique that was added was adding ink to the edges, and if I fussed a little bit with the bits and the pieces until I was happy, then that was considered my heavy lifting. I hope you like this layout, and I hope if you love this collection, you'll grab it off of Last Chance before it's gone. I am going to feature this whole collection in 2 different workshops next month. So I hope if you love the collection, you'll grab it now so that you can scrap along with me next month. Come back soon for more right here on Snips by Kelly.